And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It is game week, and I was just talking to Buddy before we went live, and he's been doing it longer than me, and he knows the ebbs and flows of talk radio, and he does his show every day, Monday through Friday. And talking season has probably been over for a couple of weeks, but if they're still practicing, that still gives opportunities for storylines or injury reports. And knock on wood, LSU's got everybody to go on Saturday. And but it's here Saturday night. What are we, 72 hours? No, more than 72 hours, 3.5 days, 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 72 hours. And I'm ready. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike. As always, Mike has been burning the candle at both ends. We are as well. We did TV, we did radio, and now we do YouTube tonight. And look, I got a little scare earlier in the week. I just felt terrible. Had that bad headache.
There's the illness going around.
Had the bad cold, and thank the good Lord I'm coming around. But, folks, the anticipation, Mike, in everything that you have, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a meal, whether it's a game of football season, the anticipation, in my opinion, is half the fun. And I guess I open up with the big word tonight, and it starts with a D, different. LSU fans want to believe that this season, this team, and this coaching staff are going to make it different. And different in winning the first game, different in organized and not a cluster frick opening the season, different with quality special teams, different with making the playoffs, and different with being competitive and playing for an SEC and national championship. What makes this 2025 team different? And we're going to start to find out some of those answers Saturday night at 6:50. If you are there, 7:50 Clemson time. They've got an orange out. They're sticking all the LSU fans up in the nosebleed. Bob Uecker's got a seat up there. But orange out, incredible atmosphere, noise. I predict LSU to win late, but, man, that's going to be a hell of an atmosphere to start this game. But is this team going to be different? And that's what's going to be so fun to find out Saturday night.
6:30 is the TV airtime. So what are they going to do for 20 minutes?
Sell the commercials and hype.
Recap the day.
But 6:50,
yeah. Got
that from Chris Blair and Gordy Rush on the broadcast. Right. On Monday. And so, look, it's going to be a heck of a stadium, and I'm as excited. We got a lot to talk about. You and I have been talking about it, so let's chop it up with the audience today. And, hey, folks, appreciate – I told Ed Daniels' widow, Robin Daniels, when we lost Ed so surprisingly, it really recharged me again, knowing that every year could be my last year. I'm on the back end, folks. Whatever the good Lord gives me at this point is gravy. It's lanyard. Mm-hmm. And so our work ethic, working with you, we try to spit out a lot of stuff. But I'm fired up, whether this is my last season or whether I've got 5 more. I'm just excited about the anticipation.
Oh, man, you got 15 more.
Because I do think, Mike, from a personnel standpoint, this is the best roster LSU's had since 2019.
You got 15 or 20, 25 more.
Come on, man. No way. Yeah. But I'll settle for 5 more.
All right, here we go. All right, everybody. Y'all hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. We're going to, of course, go to a little right at 7 or maybe a few minutes after. We're going to get to all your questions and comments that we can. And by the way, do me a favor. I did something late this afternoon that I should have done years ago. I've been using my personal Twitter account as the representative Twitter account, X account for TigerBait. I finally created a TigerBait standalone X account this afternoon. Please go over there and give it a follow. It's at TigerBait.com, and we're going to start loading a bunch of stuff there. And if you're not following me personally, at Scarborough Mike on X, but go give the official account a follow. We just cranked that up today, and we're actually going to stream some shows there in the future. All right, let's dive in. Brad DeVete in the house. Good evening, Mike and Buddy. Did you see Josh Pate has LSU? Yes, I did. Going 8-4. What a disaster that would be. What's funny is I watched that segment, and everything that he gave his reasons why and breaking down LSU for 8-4 are the same reasons why I have 9-3. I just have a hard time getting to 8-4 if you tell me Garrett Nussmeier is going to stay healthy all year long. I just have a hard time believing that. So, we've seen some people say the ceiling for LSU is 11-1 or 12-0, and they'll give the floor 7-5. I think the ceiling is 11-1 or 12-0, and the floor is 9-3. I just have a hard time seeing this team with what we've seen, regardless of the offensive line. I think the offensive line has guys there. They're going to get together. How quickly, we'll find out. But I don't see that.
Yeah, I think the 4 key players that have got to stay healthy if you want to achieve the kind of goals that LSU fans want to have. Nuss is number 1. Braylon Moore is number 2. Caden Durham is 2A. And Mansour Delane is your 4th guy. You cannot afford to lose Mansour Delane. He's the best corner LSU's had in a long time. He can lock down the primary receiver. Caden Durham is special. You give Caden Durham some grass to run through. Oh, by the way, Clemson was last in the ACC giving up yardage via the run. You will love what Caden Durham looks like if he's got some holes to run through. Braylon Moore is the straw that stirs the drink on the offensive line. He is now taken over. They made him work all through the summer to get that starting spot. And they listened to that guy. He played at Clemson. He knows what it's like to block Peter Woods. And so those 4 guys, if you stay healthy, I like LSU's chances.
Absolutely. All right. Devin Johnson says, packing the truck as we speak. Can't wait for Saturday. Go LSU. Yeah. We had LSU baseball today, Jay Johnson, and looking who all arrived to cover it because it's football season. Of course, the local TV stations have to do high school football, and you got people that have days off today. And so I wanted to see who all showed up for which station and which website and so forth. And I know some of the local media have already gotten to Clemson, and they're going to start doing. I think Chessa it was one of them. Probably going to start doing reports. I think probably all the rest will get there tomorrow. So yeah. It's here, and I don't know what that drive is. Devin, tell me what the hour is on that. Is that
saw Eads
12, 13 hours?
I don't know, but I saw John Eads in the background. He was there, and some other guys were there. Yep. So, look, here's what I hear about Clemson people. They're very, very nice before the game, but as you would expect, with the lights going out, it will be dark. It is going to be an orange out. I think it's going to look fantastic. Mickey says they give something like a southern boil, like shrimp and corn and potatoes and other stuff. Okay. And so got a little bit of a tailgating. You're going to have to look for parking. There are some free grass lots.
We talked about that on your show. They're an ACC team, but they've been built like an SEC team for years.
And especially since Dabo started dabbing on a little bit in the portal.
Yeah. And that's going to be an SEC type environment. But they've always had the luxury of that ACC schedule, and so we'll see. All right, everybody, we're here each and every week because of the fine folks over at Pride Roofing, Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez, and our great relationship with him. They sponsor this show. They're the title sponsor. So let's hear from Mike and Alex. And where's it at? Well, these things get moved around. There it is.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There you go. 855-PRIDE-16. Say TigerBait. They're going to pay for you to get TigerBait Premium free for a year. That's a $99 value. They pay for it. And again, whether it's a commercial or residential roof anywhere in South Louisiana, they've got you covered. locations in Baton Rouge, Houma, Mandeville, Coving, main location in Hammond. And of course, Mike Faraday, I always tell y'all, I've known him my entire life. Great friend of mine, family friends. And you're just not going to deal with finer people. They'll beat any competitor. If you've got their bid on letterhead, they'll beat it by $150. Always $2 million worth of shingles in the yard. And by the way, if you've got the know-how and want to be a part of the Pride Roofing family, if you're anywhere in Louisiana, they are selling zip codes for franchises. And so give them a call at 855-PRIDE-16.
The Pride Roofing motto is the roof over your head is just as important as the roof over ours. Everybody hears me say commercial, residential, and metal roofs. Metal roofs still very hot. I want to stress once again the Pride. I mentioned this last couple of weeks. You're going to take great pride in this defense this year. I firmly believe that. But, Mike, we don't talk enough about the good people that Mike and Alex and their team are. You want to do business with people who care about you and the job that they do. 1-855-PRIDE-16. All we ask is you give them an opportunity. You will not be disappointed. Call them today. Tell them Mike and Buddy we're bragging about him. That's Pride Roofing.
Absolutely. And Dr. Sibley Butler says what I'm thinking. He says, Buddy is a young man still burping baby food and throwing up pet me. Yeah. You got more than 5 years, buddy. All right, let's see. Bill Ferrer, special teams will be better. Defense will be better. Running will be better. It cannot be worse than last year. And Nussmeier has weapons. This is all we know. It's time to bring it. Look, they know what their offensive line can and can't do. They've been working with them at practice every day. And there's ways around that. With a mobile quarterback, you can move him out. You've got little wide receivers and a Bauer Sharp that you can hit on quick slants and get rid of the ball quickly. Screen game, delayed handoffs. They've got a lot of tools to get by if that offensive line has some issues early on.
Well, I want to add in Trey'Dez Green, folks. Everything we get from the player interviews is that Trey'Dez Green is going to be appreciably bigger part of the offense. Barry and Brown, trust me, the Clemson fan base knows what he did last time he lined up against Clemson in the bowl game at culmination of the 22 season or 23, whatever it was. He had 3 touchdowns. Look, Chris Hilton, we hadn't been talking much about him. Gabriel Relaford, we hadn't been talking much about him. LSU is loaded. They've got some depth. They're too deep at tackle, too deep at defensive edge rush. Heck, we know Kyle Williams has got more players than he's ever had before. Awesome linebackers. We haven't talked about all the young linebackers that will have to play next year. Definitely better with the DB, but it gets back to this one talking point. If Nussmeier and LSU can call the right plays. You asked a great question about 2 weeks ago. And the question is this. If you're going down the field and you're throwing it and you're throwing it and you're throwing it and you go 6 plays and 70 yards, how is it easy to get away from that and get back to that run game? Now, I think we talk for everybody. Nobody wants to see that sloppy-ass 2nd and 9 delay right up the gut that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you run it on first down and you get 1 or 2 yards, maybe on second down you incomplete, or you run it again, you run 2 in a row and you get another 2 or 3 yards. You could see where you got to resist the temptation to just start throwing it because you know the crazy weapons that you've got.
So LSU's got to be creative establishing the run game, and I'm a firm believer if you throw it to set up the run instead of running to set up the pass, I see a W.
Now, are you like me that if you start seeing more than a few end arounds to Xavier Thomas, that's a bad sign?
Yeah, probably so. I want to see. And look, don't forget.
There's nothing I hate more than the end around.
Yeah. Well, don't forget Caden Durham is a heck of a receiver. But look, folks, when you see Barry and Brown on the field, when you see Trey'Dez Green, you see Bauer Sharp, you see all these weapons, it gets back to can you protect Nuss and can he get rid of the football in 2.5 seconds? If he's holding it for 3 seconds, then it becomes problematic.
Absolutely. All right. Here we go. Trucking with Casper in the house with a super chat early on.
Yes.
He says, thank you for that, Casper, as always, man. He goes, hey, Mike and Buddy, what are your predictions? Breakout player of the year, offensive and defensive player of the year. Go Tigers. Saturday night, I'm picking Clemson, and I'm going with 9-3.
Saturday night, I have LSU with a late comeback victory. They are going to be behind in this game. They will come back. Garrett Nussmeier, all the trials and tribulations will be pointing upstairs after he throws the winning touchdown, or Ramos with a winning field goal. And I am picking 10-2. Now, if they lose this first game, it really becomes a stretch to get to 10-2. What did I tell you? They beat Clemson, they go 10-2. They lose to Clemson, they go 9-3. I'm picking LSU to beat Clemson, so I'm going 10-2. But folks, this is going to be a struggle every week. No disrespect to Louisiana Tech and other, but you have Florida week 3. You have Ole Miss week 5. South Carolina is a hell of a team. Vanderbilt on the road. A&M beat you last year. Alabama on the road, and at Oklahoma. All that being said, I have a couple of breakout players on defense. A.J. Halsey is going to make everybody forget last year's safeties.
I like when Whitweek singled him out yesterday.
Oh, yeah. And then from an offensive standpoint, I know you love some Bauer Sharp, but I'm just going to go with the cool pick, Barry Brown. I just think he's just too explosive. If you can get the ball in his hands, he is a guy that can take it to the house. I expect 2 or 3 big plays from the Tigers. Who are your breakout players offensively and defensively?
Breakout, I think Bauer Sharp. I mean, when I say breakout, it's because we know what Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, and so forth. But is there I don't know that I would go a Caleb Jackson or a Jawan Johnson or a Harlan Berry. So to me, it's got to be Bauer Sharp, and what wide receiver would I go with? I guess Barry and Brown.
And in defensively?
Defensively, you want to go Pyber, don't you?
Boy, I love me some Jack Pyron, but man, this is going to be interesting. We've seen Bernard Gooden dominate LSU's interior line.
I'm going to go to Bernard Gooden.
But I'm just saying, Clemson has a very experienced offensive line, and what they know how to do is keep those elbows and those hands in there, and they grab. And if you're out like this and you're grabbing, they can see it, but they teach you how to hold. If he gets in there like he's been getting there against LSU's offensive line, it's going to be a hell of a season.
By the way, don't forget, their starting left tackle is Tristan Lay.
Yeah.
He's the one that came into town, went to coaches' houses during the dead period, had basically coordinated illegal contact on his end, and then went to Clemson and sang.
Yep.
And got some coaches fired.
Yep.
Got some show causes on some unsuspecting souls. Don't forget that. So for that reason, I want to see Jack Pyburn eat him up all night long.
Gabriel Relaford, Jack Pyburn expected to start, but you're going to see plenty of Patrick Payton and Jamari Butler and others. LSU loaded on the edge.
Breakout player of the year, O&D player of the year, offensive player of the year. I'm going to go Nussmeier. Defensive player of the year. Whoo. I don't you just feel it's going to be a linebacker? And do you go Weeks or do you go Perkins?
Well, I asked the question in the last couple of days. Who has the better year, Whit Weeks or Harold Perkins? And that is what everybody is pulling for. Both those guys on the field at the same time.
I'll go Perkins.
I'm excited to see those guys play together. And of course, his older brother Wes,
but also
who's been waiting a long time.
I also think Mansour Delane
and A.J. Halsey could be the key to this LSU defense, folks.
So look at all the names we're rattling off. You couldn't do that last year.
No.
I mean, more than half of those guys shouldn't have been on the field for LSU. And Blake Baker, look, it was bad last year, but I think Blake Baker got that defense as much as he could out of them. It could have been a lot worse with the talent.
He had to make chicken salad out of chicken poop last year.
Yes, he did. All right. Casper, thanks again for that.
Thank you, Casper.
Yeah, Hunter Eiler says first play deep shot to number 6. Yeah, we've talked about that. I think a lot of people have said.
Well, here's the additional comment on that. And I've gotten this from a lot of LSU people, but I got this from a lot of football savvy people. If you throw one deep to Barry and Brown, whether it's complete or not, and you throw one deep to Chris Hilton early on in the game, all of a sudden that safety who's going to be sneaking up in the box for run support, all of a sudden now he's got to get back a little bit. So you've got to get Clemson on their heels. Look, we've been telling you, 3 TJ Parker, 11 Peter Woods, and 13 Will Held, who LSU also wanted, but he ended up getting more money at Clemson and went there. Those guys are going to be held to block. But if you can get second and third level, they're a big plays to make. But if you do that quick shot early on and get them back, then all of a sudden you've got to confuse them. Play calling, Mike, both offensively and defensively. You cannot be predictable. You've got to get Clemson guessing. And, oh, by the way, Tom Allen, one of the best DCs in the country.
But it's year one.
It is year one. But what they've been stressing is tackling. Clemson was a bad tackling team. What do you hear the biggest concerns of every coach the first game? Special teams and tackling. So we'll see who's better prepared.
By the way, I just wanted to say something. I'm always singling out Bauer Sharp, and it's not at the expense of Trades Green. The reason why I'm fired up about Bauer Sharp is because I think he's going to get you those move the chain yards, the tough 3rd and 4 that's going to keep a drive alive. Whereas Green is your 20-yard down the field, big play, tight end across the middle. I think Bauer Sharp is going to be your short, get the first down, move the chains guy when you have to have it, and it's a little bit too long on, is it a 3rd and 4, a 3rd and 5, and you're not too confident that you want to hand the ball off, and you can hit him, and he's automatic.
Well, I think that we all appreciate, and I don't know if I'll tell Coach Kelly this tomorrow when we have an opportunity, but Dabo Swinney gave the media 3 opportunities to watch practice this year for 30 minutes. They had a total of 90 minutes. We had more than 90 minutes on numerous occasions, but you mentioned Bauer Sharp, you mentioned Trades Green. I think at this point it bodes us well not to be – there's a play or two that Bauer Sharp was running in practice, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if it works and it's successful, we'll talk about it. But at this point, I'm in that paranoia mood of we don't need to tell Clemson any more than they already know.
Was it you that said on your show today that shame on them if they're not using the middle of the field with those 2 guys?
I know nothing. I'm Colonel Klink. I'm not giving any more strategy because, look, that's one of the balances. We got a lot of access, but, we were sitting there telling everybody what they did, who scored a touchdown, who overthrew, and we got to appreciate the fact that at some point you can't tell everything you see on the practice field. So right. I apologize, but look. Everybody's had more information than ever before. I hadn't figured it out yet, but we had to at least have 8 or 9 hours total viewing this year.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
Never before.
A lot of us have friends that in different markets that run Alabama sites and A&M and all that kind of stuff, and they're all have always been amazed since BK got here the access that we get that they don't. And so we're that's why we're always appreciative and maybe y'all think we're kissing butt too much, but it's
the fans have seen more. The fans have seen more practice tape from your site and all the others than ever before, and we appreciate that. But at some point,
but really all that is B-roll.
It is.
It's one-on-ones, the beginning of practice, us going between those dummies and all that stuff. It's the same. I mean, but it's all that really is B-roll. But every now and then they'll go and go 1-on-1 and 11-on-11 for a little bit, and then they'll want us to get rid of it.
Well, my point is this. If they call the plays on Saturday night that you and I and Zach and Blake and everybody else, Scone, all of them, if they call the plays that we saw majority of the camp, I think LSU fans are going to be tickled pink. I really do.
All right, let's talk about Dykes Electrical, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. And no matter how big or small your electrical needs might be, Dykes is wired for success. If you need a brand new 10-story office building, they can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse that you need built, they can wire that. Are you expanding your existing commercial building, changing out a breaker, a whole electrical panel, a receptacle, upgrading old lighting in your home or office? They can wire all of that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project, and make sure to let them know that TigerBait sent you in. And of course, we talk about them each and every week. Stroube's, one of the fine steakhouses in all of Louisiana, at 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. They pride themselves on providing a 5-star dining experience at a reasonable price. And look, they've got USDA prime black Angus, the 100% certified New York strip that's Wagyu. And look, they've got a nice seafood menu as well. They've got the black truffle lobster, pasta, redfish, duck Louisiana, and much more. So go to Stroube's.com, and they've got the entire menu there. Great desserts made in-house. Make sure to let them know TigerBait set you in. You can book your reservation at their website, Stroube's.com. Get the lamb lollipops for your appetizer.
By the way, when you call the hostess, she'll tell you where to park. She'll get your reservation. She will navigate you in and out. They do a fantastic job. And as always, great service along with very consistent food.
Let me see here. Let me get that. There we go. Ryan Stowler, evening, guys. I really believe LSU offensive line plays above average. We play free with no mistakes and fast. I think LSU is by far the better team. I think LSU from 1 through 85 or whatever the total number of scholarships is, I think they are a better team than Clemson. It's just it's at their house.
Yeah, look, this is the toughest opening game that LSU has faced in a long time. BK has not beaten a top 5 team on the road yet. He did it 4 times at Notre Dame. But there's something different about this team. There's something different about the chemistry, the leadership, the togetherness. It's not easy to bring in 18 portal guys. It's not easy to bring another 20 recruits in. And then you have guys that redshirted and didn't play last year. We hadn't talked about Jacoby and Gilroy. We didn't talk about Kyle Parker. Didn't talk about Hilton out that most of the season. Didn't talk about, obviously, Harold Perkins, who's now looking better than ever. And so this team that you see, and I know you have memories of last year, it's going to look completely different. And I think that the C word, that confidence, if they play with composure and confidence, I agree with that last comment, they will win the football game.
Eric DeLon, hello, Mike and Buddy. Glad to catch you live. Sean Carpenter, can you see a top 15 defense and only a top 50 offense? I have a hard time believing this offense would only be top 50.
Yeah, great.
Even with a below average offensive line. They're just going to be too prolific in the air. Spectrum Wellcare says, Mike, Buddy, my prediction is 10-2 and playoff bound. Dakota Chapman is also going 10-2. And so James Moore, when Nuss feels like he has to carry the team, he starts making mistakes. And Dr. Butler adds, if LSU has outstanding players, they will be fine. Great players make great plays in all situations when needed. And Carl the Cat Dunn, the time has come. Football's here. Jamborees in high school tomorrow and Friday. Yeah, I think we're going to be there tomorrow and Friday at Parkview for the the Red Stick? What do they call it? We're going to be checking some of that out and filming for TigerBait.
Carl the Cat, if there was ever a book about the top 100 fans of all time, Carl the Cat would be in that book. He does a great job for me. He was the first guy to text me and tell me that that movie star, singer, Travis Kelce had actually proposed to Taylor Swift. He's also the first guy to tell me that Bill Belichick is feeling young and he's got his 24-year-old girlfriend pregnant. So it's a crazy world with coaches and media. But Cat, we appreciate you, my friend, and I'm hoping that we can objectively put him in the top 20. You got
any lawyers in the house? Give me the what you estimate those child support payments to be. Whew, she did well, didn't she?
I'm just telling you, he gave me the first two to tell me those stories.
Dr. John says, but never been to Clemson Stadium. Is a little small. Take the stadium. 53449. Hit the like button. Yes, please do that if you're enjoying the show. And he also adds, Mike, my brother went to Baye's Oyster Bar the other day and had a great experience. Glad to hear that. They really do have great oysters. And they've got different types, everything you can imagine. And but man, that turkey, bacon, and brie po' boy is off the chain. We'll talk about them a little later in the show. Christian says off season flew by. It seems like not just LSU, but every team has a lot to work on still. And Tiger Mark, what's going on, guys? It's almost that time of year. Can you smell what Brian Kelly and company have cooking? Go Tigers, baby. And there you go. Brennan Huff, almost game day. Carvis Dora, a solid scheme and play calling can help this offensive line. Absolutely.
Agree 100%.
TC Cobbin says LSU 31, Clemson 27.
You know, I have a history, Mike, of picking.
That's kind of where you're at, aren't you?
I'm at 26-23. I have a history of picking higher scores. I like the offense.
I'm taking the over.
Is
the over still 57.5? I'm going over.
I think this defense is going to have to carry LSU the first 2 or 3 games until they solidify on the offensive line. But that's the fun part about it. Look, nobody knows. I always used to kid Mike. We talk about something, and he'd say, "You don't know," and I say, "You don't know." Nobody knows. And that's what's so exciting about waiting for that. It's going to drive me crazy. Now, we'll see football tomorrow night. Missouri opens up on the SEC Network on a cupcake. And then Auburn on Friday night at Baylor. And then it starts the games and the games and the games. So, ladies, hope you got your honey-do list because the old man's going to be eating Manda sausage and boudin, grilling up and cussing if your LSU Tigers don't win. But be ready. This is like, can you imagine? I always equate this to shopping with women, but can you imagine women shopping for 9-10 hours a day like we do watching football on Saturdays? It's unparalleled with men. And I don't want to say women and kids. Everybody's invested. And that big question, as I said at the beginning, is it going to be different starting on Saturday night?
By the way, I want to give a shout out to my neighbor, Kent Broussard, 66 years old, right across the street. Look out that window. I could see him practicing his tuba and marching the street for months. And at 66 years old, you've probably seen the story. He enrolled at LSU because it was always a dream of his to make the Golden Band from Tigerland, and he did. And looking forward to see him come down the hill with the band. Good for him. It's a great story, and the whole neighborhood here is absolutely tickled about it.
And look, he said people retire, but dreams don't retire. And when I saw all the interviews and the different stories, just a shout out of respect for that man. Folks, this is something that he visualized. He had a game plan. He worked. He lifted. He got back into it, bought a tuba in L.A. I mean, the story is incredible. We wish Kent and the Tiger Band. And what I love most of all on those stories is that, did you see how those young people in the band gravitated and respected what awesome. That man did to get that spot?
He's motivating people.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Attorney Kenny Haynes, who sponsors our postgame show, I mean, it's got him all fired up. He's talking about wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's going to be some copycats down the line.
Well, it'll be a tough road to do what Kent did, but once again, very motivational.
Easy. Yep. Looking for D. The O-line has success in the first half and gets confidence. Look out in the second half for them to really cut it loose. And Carvis Dura says Sloan has to commit to the run. Look, I think BK is going to insist on it. Sloan took a lot of heat last year. Didn't have Chris Hilton, had no deep threat. Look, you've got a lot of cooks on that offensive side of the ball. Where does Brian Kelly hang out all practice and linger? Offense. You've got Cortez Hankton and his receivers, Frank Wilson and his running backs. Brad Davis has got to get on board with how they need their plays blocked. But I think it's been an embarrassment to Brian Kelly that he has not had a stout running game since he's been in Baton Rouge. And he's going to downright insist on it. Now, how they get there, You know what I would love? I would love for all this offensive line beat downs we've been doing every show to be so moot. It would be absolutely fantastic if they came out Saturday night and performed well beyond, because they've absolutely been the whipping boy for months and months and months. No other position on that team gets the whipping.
I wanted to have time this week to actually go to the play-by-play chart last year for LSU USC. But if you remember, LSU was throwing the ball around the yard. It was 10-10 at halftime. USC didn't know what they were going to call. And then BK and LSU went in the halftime and said, we're going to run it down their throat. I agree with establishing the run. I want to see them throw the football to set up the run. I don't think this offensive line is going to be able to physically push their defensive front on first and second down. If you get them thinking pass, if you get them guessing what you're calling, and then all of a sudden you break it. And as I said, we can't give away some of the secrets, but they've got some special plays, and it involves short. Let's just say it involves short stuff, dink and dunk. And if you execute it, of course, it's always easier to practice, but if you give them time to execute that stuff, I think you're going to love the play calling this year.
Alex Jr. 20, will they go tempo this season? Absolutely, they will. Dr. Butler says you can't birdie all the holes until you birdie the first hole. Look at that. Ron Wizenot, LSU 35-17, and he's picking 11-1.
Well, listen, it's good that he's in such a good place right now. I don't care if you win by 1. I don't care if you win by 18 like he just predicted. I do throw a couple of tidbits in here from Man Defined Meats where Flavor and Spice really do say that. By the way, if you go into the ball game, bring that sausage and boudin. It'll go perfectly with that Southern boil. LSU, everybody knows, has lost the last 5 openers and 3 on the BK watch. Clemson has lost their last 2. Now, they were on the road at Georgia last year and got skull drugged, 34-3. On the road to Duke the previous year, got beat 28-7. Now they have the advantage. Mike, I think Dabo and Clemson certainly want to jump out and get the lead. And so LSU could be playing from behind. But if you take care of business, we know this, 3 adages in every football game. You got to run the football. You got to stop the run. But here's the kicker. You got to win the turnover battle. And that's why I'm thinking if the defense can force 3 turnovers, you can afford to have a fumble, an INT. You don't have any takeaways, it'll be tough to win the ball game on Saturday night.
Hakeem Batiste, this O-line will be the key to the entire game. It's forecast to be he's got showers there. Has that switched to it's going to be possible showers? Saturday night at about 30%.
No, I heard the weather is going to be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like 70 degrees at the end of the second half.
Sure.
Beautiful weather from what I saw. If this O-line does their job, then it's up to us to be great. If he has that in him, go Tigers. Got to go LSU from Lewis Franklin. Music says Nuss Bus. Tiger Mark, I like 27-24. LSU breakout player Mansour Delane with an interception this game.
I like it. And look, but speaking of turnovers, you're going to love the way 13 supports the run. This guy is a baller, 6 foot, 222, and when he comes up, he unloads on you. I can't wait to see him play in a real game. But remember, LSU used to have those great safeties, Jamal Adams, and all the way back to where they just, when you came into that middle of the field, they made you pay. Last year, it was like, bye-bye, and they run right by you. I think the safety play has a chance to be one of the most improved positions on the whole LSU team in 2025.
Carlos Dury says Perkins will have 8 to 10 sacks. Truggins Casper came back in with another super chat. Thank you for that, Casper. He says, what should we expect from special teams this year?
Well, you got a new punter, Grant Chadwick. You got a new snapper, Jonathan Ferguson. Ferguson's 49. Chadwick wears 90. Chadwick is going to start off holding on PATs and field goals. Damian Ramos is still your field goal kicker, number 34. This is his last year. And Aaron Burrell has an incredible leg. We know he can kick off. Anything over 50, I think Aaron Burrell would try it. But, we saw this a little bit at some of the special teams we work. He can kick the football so high on a pooch punt. He may be the pooch punter, but it is absolutely imperative not only for PR, but for winning this football game, that special teams, and you got a new special teams coach, if they are on par and ready to go, Clemson does not have great special teams. That could be an area where LSU helps win the game.
Casper, thanks again. Ryan Statler, I got to ask you guys, why is it that mostly SEC decides to go on the road to play these games first instead of having the guts to say, no, you come here first? I know in the case of LSU, I think their thought process is if you're going to schedule a tough one home and home, you get the end the series of the home and home at home with a win.
Well, and the good thing that the SEC did come out when they announced that they were going to 9 conference games is that you still have to have one big boy conference opponent, non-conference opponent that's a Power 5 team. So I was worried that LSU, if they went to 9, they were going to get shafted at this return game like they did with Texas in the COVID year. But now that game is going to come on, and Scott Woodward and everybody else put those SOBs in the Bob Uecker seats. This is, you try to treat fans accordingly, but man, 5,500 of the 6,000 tickets, I don't know if they took all of them. You're going to see purple way up in the nosebleed, and SEC schools usually treat each other better, but it happened in Texas. They didn't have a return game, but if Clemson comes back next year, put them in the nosebleed.
Count the money. LSU's last 2 recruiting classes are top 10. Clemson's are 22 and 23rd and 14 and 15. Look, man, Clemson has done. They recruit differently. They always have. He does things like you don't get an offer unless you visit. If you take their offer, he doesn't like you visiting anywhere else.
Oh no, he won't let you. I don't think he won't let you. He won't let you commit and go to another school on a visit.
Yep. So
look, Dabo's won 2 natties, and
it's a little bit of a cult over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all right. Alex Jr. says this is LSU versus Oregon in 2011.
Boy, I was at that game, and I got to tell you something. That was the fastest defense I've ever seen. I remember Markevius Mingo running down their outstanding running back. We saw Brandon Taylor, all those guys. That was one of the fastest, best defenses I've ever seen. We were in Dallas for that game. It was an incredible. But what was so different is that the Oregon fan base was tall lumberjacks, and there you had the shorter, more compact, partying Kunas, South Louisiana regime. And look, they had all kinds of signs about Jordan Jefferson and this, and he's this and all that. And once LSU started getting on the field, it was like all of a sudden, okay, you wanted to mess with us, and that fan base and that team sent a message. I don't know if they'll send that message on Saturday night, but that's one of the questions I'm going to ask Coach Kelly tomorrow. Is your team going to play under control with a freaking chip on your shoulder? Everybody in the country is going to be picking Clemson. What kind of underdog coach are you, BK? And does that team play with a chip on their shoulder, but under control? Not a stupid 15-yard penalty like they've had in the past with celebrations and all that other crap. So got to play with a higher football IQ. I'm hoping they do that Saturday night.
Oh, Danny Girl, I do not know how I feel about a positive, Mike. I am sticking with 9-3. Well, I'm at 9-3 too. I'm positive about this team, but she says until I see otherwise. But I believe they can, but will they? Well, you and I are the same. Oh, Danny Girl, I think they can do it. It's not going to shock me if they win Saturday night. I was asking Buddy, he's picking 10-2, but beating Clemson. So then my next question is, do you have them losing that? You must be having them either losing a Florida or Ole Miss, or you're saying those 2 losses are going to be late in the season.
Well, look, I this is old school, but look, I gave 10-2 if they beat Clemson, but you've got obstacles in the road every week. Week 3, you got to take care of Florida. I told Mike this today. If you lose to Billy Napier in Florida in week 3, that's going to really hurt. That's going to hurt your perception.
I don't see them losing at home.
But Alabama on the road is going to be tough. Ole Miss on the road is always tough. Everybody's talking about Oklahoma. I don't have it broken down. Right now, my focus is on concentrating, and I know the team is one game at a time, 1-0 every week. But if they beat Clemson, I think they'll be in the playoffs and go 10-2.
Tari Love with a super chat. Thank you. He says, I'm sorry, but LSU will be able to run against Clemson. I've seen Louisville have a field day. Louisville's offensive line not nearly as talented. There you go.
Would that be something if LSU was able to run the football and then get the lead and then run the clock out? Folks, Caden Durham, I cannot impress upon you enough about how much better he looks. He was never the same after the toes, and he catches the ball out the backfield. We know Caleb Jackson is a big man. If you get him second or third level, they don't have anybody that wants to tackle him. Harlem Berry, got to tell you, Harlem Berry's daddy. Harlem's made big strides in the last 2 weeks. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I said he was a little gimpy, favoring the ankle. He looked like a blur the last time we saw him. And then Juwan Johnson has great vision. If Caleb Jackson had Juwan Johnson's vision, he'd be getting as many reps as Durham. But LSU's got that. And then, of course, Mike's favorite play, Xavier Thomas on a wide receiver reverse for a touchdown. Who knows? But man, if you could, what do you want to see? Give me an over and under on rushing yards. If LSU rushes for this many yards, they win the football game. 150 or more?
175.
All right.
Dane Bergeron with a super chat. Dr. Daniels and I are flying out on Friday. We'll be ready for game time. Dane, thank you for that super chat and have safe travels. Dennis Guidry says, don't worry, Clemson is overrated by the media. All right, I got to talk to you about Genesis of Lafayette. And you see it right there on the screen, 2.99 APR for 60 months. The Genesis Signature event, that's on new 2025 GV80s. Or you can get 3.99 for 72 months. You cannot beat that deal. Do yourself a favor. Go over to Genesis of Lafayette and test drive either the GV80 or the GV70. You're not going to beat those vehicles for interiors, ride, the quality. It really is a best buy amongst those luxury SUVs. Again, 6600 Johnson Street, huge LSU fans. They sell more Genesis vehicles than any other dealer in Louisiana. They beat New Orleans. They beat Baton Rouge. They're selling a lot of vehicles. Huge LSU fans. Again, do yourself a favor and make the trip to Lafayette. Give them a call. They'll earn your business. They'll locate one you want. And give them a call, 877-856-2961, and tell them TigerBait sent you in. You're going to love those vehicles. Capital City Grill. You see it on the screen. Make that your brunch plans on the Sunday after LSU games. One of the best brunches in all of South Louisiana. Again, located downtown, 107 3rd Street. 100 Lafayette Street. Your ideal lunch and dinner stop. They've got the sandwiches, burgers, and but the Sunday morning brunch from 11 to 2 is where you want to be. You see it on the screen. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all the traditional favorites. They've got club sandwiches, everything you want from 11 to 2 on Sundays. You can have regular lunch menu till 3 on Sundays. Head over there on Sunday after a game before you head back out of town and get a great brunch. And they've got the mimosas, and you can get the Bloody Marys and everything else you need, the hair on the dog, as they say, over at Capital City Grill.
Awesome scenery outside grill, outside seating. And listen, folks, it's busy. You're going to have to wait. Great bar. Girlfriend and her daughter have been there before, enjoyed it. Sometimes you ended up eating at the bar if you pack. So very consistent as well.
Braxton Wittenberg, everybody talking about LSU's offensive line, but what about Clemson? Whitperk, Pyburn, interior mix of D-line might terrorize them. I think they are. I'm real anxious to see what Blake Baker has dialed up.
Well, obviously, Cade Klubnik is a guy that you have got to keep within the confines of the pocket. If you let him run and he gets to the second or third level, he had 463 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns, I think. He accounted for 7 touchdowns maybe running. He accounted for 43 touchdowns last year. He doesn't throw as pretty a ball as Nussmeier, but he is savvy. He is poised. And you made fun of me a couple of weeks ago and said I was giving Clemson some bulletin board material, but I see Jack Pybert, I see Harold Perkins, I see Whit Weeks, I see Gabriel Relaford, I see all those guys wanting to get after them. Now, if you send the kitchen sink and they dump it off to the little middle screen or the bubble, you could give up a big play. But that's where Halsey, Spears, Tamarcus Cooley, and all those guys come in. So, look, it's going to be a chess match with the coaches. And that's what's so fun, because I like the fact that LSU is going to be a prohibitive underdog. I got to ask you, and I'll ask Coach Kelly, do you think he embraces this being an underdog role in this game Saturday night?
I think he is.
He's got to.
I mean, what do you think those offensive linemen are thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, they've been getting ripped on every show. They're not this, they're not that. They're, if they can just be average. I mean, how many times have I said that? Man, if I was Brad Davis, I'd print all that stuff out and have it all over the room. What all the media is saying, basically pinning, everything on them. You want to talk about a group that's ought to be us against them or us against the world? It's that offensive line room.
Well, I'll just tell you this, and we're going to start to see it tomorrow night with football. At the beginning of the year, you're going to have some false starts. You're going to have some holding penalties. You're going to have some guys leaving early. It's not going to be a fine-tuned oil well machine right now. You're going to have some hiccups. You just have to overcome those obstacles. But we saw Carius Kern have some false starts. We've seen some faux pas. But and let's be honest, that noise and all of this is what was problematic when BK said he might play 7 or 8 guys. Usually you have 5, everybody knows, but when you bring in a new guy and you can't hear, that makes it ultra tough. So they're going to have to overcome some obstacles, and they're going to have some penalties. They're going to have some turnovers.
Do we lock it in? Tyree Adams, Mubinga, Moore, Thompson, Weston Davis?
I would say DJ Chester's going to play some left guard as well.
But the first guy's out.
I mean, we'll see if DJ Chester starts, if it's Mubinga. Cohen Eccles is probably the third guard. And I don't know, would you put Carius Kern in this game? He's going to be a beast. You and I both say that. Is he ready for this game?
I don't think so.
And on the defensive side, how much does DJ Stingley play? DJ Pickett. Man,
it's been quiet, hasn't it?
He's been quiet, but he's got big play capabilities.
But there's been no buzz. I mean, it's been quiet about him.
I had a Freudian slip there. I said Stingley.
I know you did.
He could be the next great freshman cornerback, and nobody did it like Derek Stingley his first year in 19. That was an All-American year as a corner. He had the press clippings, but he delivered. DJ Pickett, 6'5", 195, the tallest cornerback in LSU history. He's got the long range. He's going to get burned. He's going to have some INTs this year as well.
Braxton Wittenberg again. He says, I got 42-17. Call me crazy, but I'm not buying the hype on the Clemson D-line. They gave up 300 yards last year to Citadel. Offense gets 150-plus rushing yards, and LSU dominates Clemson. Wow. That'd be a heck of a post-game show.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, Braxton.
Yeah.
Keith Parker says LSU wins 31-21.
See, this is the fun about college football, Mike. This is what fans live for. And one of these years, they're going to stop the streak. The question is, you've got to be smart in realizing this is the toughest opening game that LSU has played on the road to start a season in a long, long time. If they can just overcome some early problems and obstacles, I feel like they can come back and win this football game late. Now, I would love to be wrong, and it's 35-21 or whatever, but they're going to be a challenge. This is not going to be easy. I hope those guys are right, but I think it's going to be a little more competitive than some of the scores we've heard.
Y'all do me a favor if you're watching this show on Facebook and let me know if you're still seeing it. I just got a little alert saying that there's some technical difficulties and maybe that our Facebook stream has dropped. If you're watching this on Facebook, give me a shout out and let me know if it's still running or not. Hopefully, if it ended, that people knew to immediately come over to YouTube. Yeah, Talking with Casper comes in with another super chat. He says 27-17 LSU. It's not going to be close. Book it.
All right, Casper, since you have been so generous tonight, what am I going to do? And I'm not going to say if, but when LSU wins, I want you to get his address, and I'm going to mail him the hottest T-shirt going next week. And
All right.
Casper, you got a T-shirt coming, and you know what it says. We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the Natty. By the way, you have modeled that shirt and gotten rave reviews from people at the gym.
Yeah. Christopher Westbrooks. Yes, I just left Facebook. All right. So what I'll do later is I'll download a copy of this and then upload it to Facebook so it's there. Randy Jones, I got to catch that Jay Johnson interview at Chance Babbitt. Good looking out, my boy. Jay's real excited about that team. That he went almost 50 minutes today. That's up on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook channel. Let's see. Yeah. Alex Jr. 28. Can't really talk bad about the ACC. We lost to Florida State 2 years in a row.
Well, look, they are the cream of the crop in the ACC this year. They're expected to win, and they did make the playoffs last year, but they also lost to all three SEC teams that they played. One of them was at Georgia opening up. They lost to Carolina when they couldn't tackle Sellers late in the last regular season game, and then Texas beat them by 2 touchdowns. But, you know, what kind of LSU team is going to show up? Interesting. I wanted to ask you this before we get out of here. Paul Feinbaum has BK on his show. Every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. And he said, look, I appreciate having him on, but I think they're going to get beat, and I think it's going to get ugly.
So he's got LSU losing ugly and Arch Manning, the best quarterback since Tim Tebow.
Yeah. So we'll see if any of that plays out.
It's time to check Paul's meds. The mayor says it's going to come down to the trenches in the running game. Braxton says, what's LSU's 3 losses this year, Mike? I've got Clemson. I don't know what the second one's going to be in the middle somewhere. Maybe it's Alabama. Maybe it's at Ole Miss. I just don't see them losing at home. And then I think maybe at Oklahoma.
You know, it's funny. Their coach has more pressure than anybody in the country. I mean, he's got a new AD. And when you have a new AD coming in, you're not his guy. And so Brent Venables has got a big, I guess you could say a lot of pressure, but John Mateer is their quarterback. And this is a big guy coming over from Washington State. So he's a guy that can run it and throw it. But, you know, I have no idea what LSU will look like or Oklahoma.
I stand by my statement, though. If LSU wins Saturday night, I'm coming into the postgame show and immediately changing my prediction to 11-1. I'm going to skip right over 10-2 and go straight to 11-1 if they win Saturday night.
Okay.
I'm sticking to that. All right. Let's see. All right. It's going to come down to whomever scores more points, says Stephen Trahan. Yes. All right, everybody. And I got a few more I need to do, and then we're going to get some more of your comments. But you see it on the screen, Baye's Oyster Bar, your new premier oyster place in Baton Rouge. Absolutely fantastic oysters. We talked about them earlier in the show. And again, 315 North Boulevard. Of course, it's the old Jolie Pearl, Baye's Oyster Bar. Freshest farm-raised oysters from Grand Isle. No mud, no grit, just clean, delicious flavor. And if you're not into oysters, they've got great boiled shrimp, their turkey brie and bacon sandwich, and their classic roast beef po' boys are incredible. They've got a fully stocked bar complete with top-notch bourbon, whiskey, and a massive craft beer selection. So don't miss out on Baton Rouge's newest oyster spot, and make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. And I also need to talk about these guys. See it on the screen, all those great polos over at Alumni Hall. If you're making the trip to Clemson, get over there before you head out of town. get the gear you need. And beautiful store in Perkins Row. And they've got it all. Nike Champion, Alma Reserve, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, a lot more. Beautiful store. Use code TigerBait, all one word. You're going to get 10% off online or in the store. They've got their Hall Pass rewards for every $150 you spend. You get a $10 reward for future purposes. They always have all those tables up front where you can mix and match 2 for $38 LSU Champion brand T-shirts with some really great designs there. And so get over to Alumni Hall and use the code TigerBait. Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Look, just want to give a shout out to one of my other great sponsors. One of the reasons I'm here, Amanda Badimco, Dixie Electric member co-op, folks. It is hurricane season. We've been lucky enough to avoid all that. They believe in trust, communication, and levelized billing. If you have any information that you need for tropical storms, flooding, or hurricanes, go to the Dimco Storm Watch, and they do a fantastic job. And, you know, I know a lot of people gripe that we have sponsors in this show, but look, that's one of the reasons that in this business that we're able to do the kind of stuff that we do. People support us, and we hope that you understand that we've got to promote these people because they're good people. Every one of your sponsors and my sponsors care and do a great job, a great service for this community. So bear with us on that, and think with the glass half full. I do expect a very tough opening first quarter. I think that it will be a feeling out process. I want to see LSU take some shots to get that safety out of the box. You don't know how they're going to tackle. You don't know how special teams are. Here you have a new snapper, a new punter, and all that. We can't predict how they're going to do that under that pressure. But when push comes to shove, I've got LSU and Nussmeier pointing up as they throw the winning touchdown. Or it could be Damian Ramos, 26-23, and I'm guaranteeing the Tigers will win. You know, I'll take $1,000 right now. The Tigers will win Saturday night.
Which one? LSU?
It doesn't matter. They're both Tigers.
All right. Alex Jr. 28 says, what's the over and under on Nuss's rushing yards?
It should be negligent. After that bump in the road.
I said I'm thinking 18.
Well, the problem that you have in predicting that is that in college, when you get a sack in college, by the way, what would you be happy with sacks? I said, if they only give up 2 sacks, I'd be excited. But if Nuss gets sacked for a couple times and loses, let's say 15 yards. Now, to get to positive, he's got to run the ball 20 yards or more. I don't think that's going to be a big factor because he had a little scare, obviously. But we'll see. You know, he's not a natural runner, but he's really been cognizant about becoming a better runner. And I don't know. What do you think his mindset is after getting dinged in camp? I don't think he's going to be looking to run.
I don't think I see it anywhere in his mind.
But if he does step up in the pocket and have that presence, and there's green grass to catch first down, then he's going to do that. But he's got to get down. He can't take a hit from somebody because these guys are big, fast, and strong. So, look, how many yards passing Nussmeier?
230.
Over 300.
All right.
Folks, big plays are going to happen Saturday night. Could be on both teams. Once again, if you're like me, you watch all these games.
230 is low.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm just saying the build-up. Do you get a little antsy like at 6 and all of a sudden you've watched all these other games and you're like, okay, I'm ready to see what LSU's got. I'm ready to see 650 actual kick. Of course, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, and I'm guessing Holly Rowe. Doesn't she still do the games with them?
I believe so.
Okay, so going to be great coverage.
Do we know who the refs are?
No, we don't know what conference the refs are. And do not get your feelings hurt if everybody in the media picks Clemson. I think you could actually tell these guys in the locker room before, hey, everybody's expecting you to lose. Let's go make a difference and give a different result. Is this a year you're going to start with a W, or is that streak going to continue for 6 years? I'm thinking glass half full. LSU wins by 3.
All right, everybody. Looking for D. Another great job, guys. Let's get it going. Tigers roll 38-27. Thank you for that. We'll end on that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. Subscribe, notification bell. Go to TigerBait.com and subscribe. We're going to have our live game chat. Don't forget to come back here on Saturday night for our post-game show. Myself with Preston Guy, we're going to have a big post-game show. We're going to try to go live as soon as we can after the game ends. Please join us for that one. And all right, hit the like button, everybody. All right, good night.